Welcome back to The Explainer. I am so incredibly thrilled to have you here today because, wow, we are looking at something monumental. The dust has finally settled on the 2026 FIFA World Cup across North America, and you know what? The landscape of world football has just fundamentally shifted. Today, we're breaking down the post-tournament reality for the three biggest generational icons this sport has ever seen. It's literally the question echoing through stadiums and sports media around the globe right now. Are we officially witnessing the final days of football's greatest generation? The fallout from this tournament has left us all with this really complex web of emotions, cryptic statements, and some highly calculated exit strategies. For those of us who grew up watching these guys, it's a pretty bittersweet reality check. So we're going to take a factual, side-by-side journey to understand exactly where these three legends stand right now. Here's our agenda for today. First, an era's final whistle. Second, Neymar, tears and uncertainty. Third, Ronaldo's structured farewell plan. Fourth, Messi's bitter final defeat. And finally, legacies and lingering questions. Okay, let's dive into this. We are going to decode this triptych narrative by looking at three highly contrasting fates side by side.
Section 1. Tears and uncertainty. Let's start with Brazil and Neymar. Just to set the stage, Brazil suffered a shocking premature exit following a stunning 2-1 defeat by Norway in the round of 16. It was a chaotic, deeply emotional conclusion for the squad, but the world's spotlight instantly locked onto their number 10.
To truly grasp Neymar's World Cup reality, you just need to consider this stark number. 37. That is the mere 37 total minutes an injury-plagued Neymar managed to play across 2 matches in this entire tournament. After nearly 3 years away from the national team, battling severe knee injuries, his highly anticipated return amounted to barely more than a half of football before a tearful exit from the pitch. And right after that devastating loss to Norway, Neymar delivered this incredibly heavy, cryptic statement to the press. He just said, "It ends here." 3 words, but the emotional weight, immense. Almost instantly, this quote sparked massive global speculation. Everyone was wondering if he was announcing a permanent retirement from international football, or maybe even the sport entirely. But to humanize those stats, we really have to look at the pushback from his inner circle. This is a super poignant quote from an Instagram video posted by his father and agent, Neymar Santos Sr. He's publicly urging his son not to give up, telling him literally, "Don't be afraid of tomorrow." It's a fascinating look at the tension going on behind the scenes, the raw emotional exhaustion of the player versus the strong push from his family against permanent retirement. So where does that actually leave his market status right now? Well, honestly, his future is entirely up in the air. He returned from Saudi Arabia to his boyhood club Santos in Brazil, but that contract expires very soon, in December 2026. On the pitch, he has shown flashes of his old brilliance, 4 goals and 2 assists in 8 matches in the Brazilian league since his surgery. Off the pitch, a potential move to the MLS with FC Cincinnati actually fell through, and perhaps most tellingly, and kind of amusingly, when a fan posted an AI-generated video of him playing in the 2030 World Cup, Neymar simply replied with laughing and crying emojis. Clearly, even he finds the future completely unpredictable right now.
Section 2. Ronaldo's structured farewell plan. Now let's shift gears completely and look at a totally different approach to the twilight of a career. While Neymar's situation is all ambiguity, Cristiano Ronaldo has orchestrated a highly calculated, definitive exit strategy.
Now, what's really interesting about this is how crystal clear Ronaldo has mapped out his intentions. As we track his timeline, he extended his contract with Al Nassr in 2025, confirms the 2026 World Cup would likely be his final major international tournament, and plans to retire at the end of his club contract in 2027. He's actually publicly demanded unity, asking the media and fans to stop treating his presence as a debate topic. He essentially wants the retirement distraction off the table entirely until he crosses this very structured finish line. And the reason he can dictate these terms, because his on-pitch output remains absolutely remarkable for a 41-year-old. I mean, he recently surpassed 950 career goals. And in this tournament, playing in a record-breaking 6 World Cup, territory no male player has ever reached before, he still scored twice in the group stage. To still be delivering at that elite level on the world's biggest stage at his age is just phenomenal. And Ronaldo's performance isn't just making waves on the pitch, it is literally moving financial markets. When Portugal completely dominated Uzbekistan 5-0 to top Group K, with Ronaldo scoring twice, it acted as a massive catalyst for the Portugal national team fan token, or $POR. Because Kraken was the official crypto exchange supporter of the 2026 World Cup, we saw this incredible global integration. You see, fan tokens operate in an event-driven market. That means Portugal advancing with a dominant goal record historically correlates with the exact kind of short-term price spikes we witnessed. It's a perfect example of how sports achievements now directly intersect with crypto markets. Section 3. Messi's bitter final defeat. Moving to the climactic third act of our explainer, the context here is just absolute heartbreak. Messi and Argentina made it all the way to the World Cup final at MetLife Stadium, only to suffer a devastating 1-0 loss to Spain deep into extra time, all while playing with 10 men. But despite the crushing defeat, Messi's individual tournament was absolutely historic. He scored an incredible 8 goals in 2026, which pushed his all-time tally to 21 across a record 34th career match. For just a fleeting moment, he actually held the all-time scoring crown, only to be narrowly edged out by France's Kylian Mbappe, who secured 22 total goals in a true clash of titans. It's a jaw-dropping statistical achievement heavily shadowed by a bitter team loss. So the immediate aftermath has left absolutely everyone guessing about his future. And that's largely because of his history. Think back to June 2016. After losing a Copa America final, Messi famously announced his retirement, only to reverse that decision just 2 months later. Fast forward to today, Adidas built an entire massive campaign around him called The Last Tango, heavily suggesting a farewell. Yet, after this World Cup final loss, we have total silence regarding an official retirement. So the crucial point is how Messi actually chose to address the public. He posted this on social media. "The pain is too great. It will take a long time for this wound to heal." He expressed deep gratitude to his teammates and the fans, and he gracefully accepted the defeat, even congratulating Spain. But notice what's missing. He never actually said the word retirement. He wrote about pride and wounds, effectively leaving the door cracked open for the future, exactly like he did in the past. Section 4. Legacies and lingering questions. Which brings us to the overarching theme of this entire tournament's aftermath. We have Neymar's emotional ambiguity, Ronaldo's calculated countdown, and Messi's silent grace in defeat. It's time to synthesize these narratives and look at what this actually means for the broader landscape of football. The current state of the sport was brilliantly captured in one of the most enduring moments of the final. It wasn't the trophy left. It was Spain's rising star, the undeniable face of the next generation, Lamine Yamal, embracing Lionel Messi right after the final whistle. And this brilliantly illustrates a powerful, literal passing of the torch. It represents the World Cup moving from the grip of an era-defining legend straight into the hands of the sport's new vanguard. Which leaves us with this final massive question to ponder. We all kind of assumed 2026 would be the hard stop, right? But with no official retirement announcements from Messi or Neymar, and Ronaldo definitively playing until at least 2027, we really have to ask, has the era of football's greatest generation truly ended, or has it just evolved into a much longer, way more complex farewell? The final whistle may have blown in the 2026 World Cup, but the story of these 3 icons, yeah, it's clearly still being written. Thank you so much for joining me on The Explainer today, and I'll catch you next time as we continue to decode the biggest stories through the data.